All right. Legacy Eldrazi, as CTR put it, it's always fun to chalice someone and then smash them to start off the Magic evening. I agree. As someone who's like had love-hate relationship off and on with Legacy, I'm definitely at a point in my life currently where chalicing people is the thing I would like to be doing in Legacy. Yeah, I literally just clicked the go live button, Austin. You're here right for the very start. I've been live for 5 minutes and 18 seconds. So there are in fact just 83 of my closest friends here. It's like turn 2 Thought-Knot Seer, potentially could Wasteland someone to get a free Legacy game out of them. And I guess I like have Grizzly Bear into like turn 1 Grizzly Bear, turn 2 Thought-Knot Seer. Seems fine. It's like not super impressive, but I think this like falls into the range of keepable. Akersai, thank you for the Twitch Prime support. I appreciate that. Stream Decker is very much not updated. Let me do that. When I stream in the evenings like this, like my normal rituals aren't in place, so I often miss that. Missed that yesterday too to start. Nothing but the most powerful Legacy plays. Turn 1 Soul Land Grizzly Bear. Come at me. Alright, the third Soul Land's like not even a terrible draw. For those not familiar with Legacy, Soul refers to S-O-L, which is a reference to Soul Ring. We refer to lands that make 2 mana generally as Soul lands. The third land that makes double mana here is not bad because it means I get to curve turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. Basic planes could be Death and Taxes, could also be Miracles, could also be some kind of brew. Let's go down Admiral. Nah, it's about the same as always, Prez. It's just modern's a little bit more medium as of late, so like to get some variety into the non-rotating format we're dipping back in. I don't mind the Chalice decks too much. Chalicing people out of the game. Honestly, and this is, I'm sure some Legacy, honestly some modern people will probably take offense to this too. I actually feel like, and this is what pulled me out of Legacy for a while, is that Modern's getting to a point like Legacy, which is that the brews are really bad. They're poorly positioned. Like the power level of the format in Modern has gotten really high to the point where like random deck ideas are much worse than they once were, which makes playing what I do here feel much worse because like people in general tend to pay to see decks that aren't tier 1, right? Like the appeal to what I do here is like playing things that are weird and interesting, and like weird and interesting I think are both at like all-time low in terms of power level for like Modern and Legacy, just because like the decks that are good are so efficient and are so powerful. I did look at the entire Explorer. In fact, I spent a good chunk of the afternoon getting started building standard decks for the build around submissions that people had sent in. Thanks, Acker. Acker? Acker. I think it's Acker. Thanks for picking my channel this month, Acker. So, I actually don't mind playing, you know, the good tiered decks on occasion. And like with Legacy and Modern, like we can play mostly tiered decks in both formats and like still have a good chunk of variety. Especially when we mix in a little bit of standard too. The move went pretty swell. We have a few things left that we need to grab from the old house still, but we're currently snowed in, so we're just taking it easy today. Yeah, I agree. So one of the things I've always been a big proponent of, I've talked about a lot, is that Legacy, even though the card pool is very deep and like the theoretical number of playable cards, in actuality, the number of cards that end up being playable in Legacy tends to be incredibly small because of just the power level of the cards that see play in the format. Like, the cards that see play are so strong, they push a lot of other cards out of the realm of playable. Yeah, and honestly, Playhu, I think at the end of the day, there's a pretty significant portion of people that, like, don't want Legacy or Modern to be fixed, right? Like, there's plenty of people that enjoy both of these formats, and we should just enjoy them for what they are, and campaigning for them to be drastically different is just silly, I think. Phyrexian Revoker, sure. That's interesting. That's a smusher. Smusher gonna smush. Let's ram this one in, shall we? Yeah, I always wear headphones during the arena stream. I have my headphones on tonight because I'm actually testing that. Wait, did that work? Maybe there was a delay there. I have a thing set up so I hear an alert notification when someone donates or subscribes. I've missed a couple of donations here and there recently, so I want to make sure that I can acknowledge those, so I don't always catch the pop-up out of the corner of my eye. Alright, good enough, I guess. Testing that sound alert, then. It definitely worked, WLX. Thank you for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. This is definitely a Jitte matchup. I think this is a Ratchet Bomb matchup, too. It's definitely not a Thorn matchup. Chalice of the Void's a little bit mediocre here as well. I think these three definitely come in, and I could see an argument for Ratchet Bomb coming in as well. Like, is it worth turning off, like, exactly Swords to Plowshares to make this, to leave this in? I don't think it is. I think I'd rather have Ratchet Bomb to, like, kill Batterskull tokens and stuff like that. Modern's not degenerate enough. Unbanned Glimpse and Soothing Song. Yep, sure. I think there's a lot of people out there that would like that, Nivik, honestly. I think I'm gonna do that. I think I like that. I like that swap. Seems fairly reasonable. I need to get caps for the what are these dugouts called? Like the walkout for this basement bedroom. There's no cap over it, so it's been filling up with snow today. There's a technical name for those, I'm sure. Seems like pretty soft to a Wasteland, but it's just like any soul land that it's like turn 2 Thought-Knot again, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep it. There's Mommy. What's going on, Master Jiff? Do I just Wasteland them? I'm just gonna Wasteland them. Have a good one, Buppos. You'll be able to catch them on the YouTube tomorrow. Suddenly getting, I mean, people have been asking for a KCI ban for like a year or more in my experience, Admiral. Why is Mom still in their deck? That's a good question. That's a good question. Why is Mom in their deck against our deck full of colorless things? Yeah, KCI did recently take up 4 of the top 8 slots at the Modern Grand Prix, which is more than Splinter Twin ever even put up. So that's kind of a big deal. See if they have a port or a Wasteland of their own. If they're porting us here, they're not putting more stuff in play, so like it's kind of a wash. You've got another 1/1 Oh no. What if these Mother of Runes team up and double block my Endless one, chat? With their powers combined. Ultimate Pater Servant. They could, no, Recruiter of the Guard is 2 toughness or less, right? Make sure we pay blue mana here so they can't force our Or Matter Reshaper. In the end, it doesn't even matter anymore. Nah, I don't think so at all, Turkin. I think you're going to see another no changes in all format status update, just like maintaining the status quo. Everybody's mostly happy, don't rock the boat. Anybody who's not happy will move on to other formats type thing. I think anybody hoping for major changes to Modern at this point just like hasn't been paying attention. Either love it for what it is or like go play something else. And that's kind of what I've done here, right? Like, I'm still playing, we're playing Modern, but we're focusing on decks that are just like good decks that I enjoy playing rather than trying to like continue to play nonsense. Yes, anyone who's not currently happy with Modern will likely never be happy with the format. We're probably dead here, right? I assume Umezawa Jitte is going to put things away and I just don't have any lands. Welcome to the Wasteland format. Enjoy your stay. Clearly Mother of Runes is correct here. I wonder if I'm supposed to bring in... Is Spyglass to name their equipment better? I don't think so. I think that's just there for like Jace and Sneak Attack. Modern changes. Like there's people are like, oh man, you used to always love this thing. Why don't you love it anymore? It's just because like, well, what Modern is today is different than Modern 6 months ago, is different from Modern a year ago, is different from Modern 2 years ago, is very different from Modern 3 or 4 years ago. Magic's constantly evolving. There's new cards printed and all sorts of fantastic stuff like that. We're gonna be playing Moto for a couple hours today, speed test. Maybe even 2 or 3. So I'm planning to do 2 Moto leagues and we're just starting off, so gonna be a few till we get to Arena. There's so many people that just expend so little mental energy, Marty. They're just like, oh man, if you liked this thing once upon a time, you have to always like it. Just like either willfully or unintentionally ignorant to the fact that like Magic formats can change and evolve. Do I play Walking Ballista on one here? Do I play Walking Ballista on one here? I feel like I don't. I think I'm just going to play Eldrazi Temple and pass. Be interested in a Modern submission. Yeah, that would be fine. I wouldn't reject that. Change is scary, Urborg, yep. There's Mommy. You used to love Modern. Yeah, I also used to suck my thumb. Oh, that's kind of rude, Marty. I don't know if that's a good direct comparison. There's going to be a lot of video games later this week, I promise. We're going to be... What's it called? We're going to be doing like... We're doing all Arena on Monday, Thursday, Friday. I'm doing all Magic Online Tuesday, Wednesday this week. I'm not doing split format days this week because of the new release. Hey, Skullmorn, thanks for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Shout out to my wife on her birthday. Oi, Christy. What's going on, Christy? Is your wife's name spelled like that too? That's how my wife's name is spelled, and like nobody spells Christy like that. I always give her crap. That's like the most uncommon spelling of Christy. That's so sad. Oh, they drew swords. I was like, I thought I saw a path. I was expecting to get a land there, but they definitely drew a Swords to Plowshares, huh? Name spellings are getting strange. Well, I mean, like, if you're dating on Tinder and you're seeing strange spelled names on Tinder, that probably implies they've been strange for a while, right? Because, like, anybody who's on Tinder had their name 2 decades ago, right? At least about 2 decades ago. I'll probably be people my age and a little bit older are probably like the last people who never internet dated. Christy and I started dating when I was 17 or 18. So I never did the whole swiping things. I think I'd just go ahead. I could play the Oblivion Sower, but I'd really rather just not have a Batterskull come into play next turn, so let's do this. Exile that. So their hand is Wasteland, Flickerwisp, Path, Batterskull. What's the relevant XKCD for everything? The one about naming their child the thing that causes the school table to drop. So I would like to kill Flickerwisp in response here. Just good clean 1 for 1. Yeah, there's always #always irrelevant XKCD. Yeah, there were definitely paid sites definitely predate the like the Tinders of today, right? They did Dash of Salt. Did we hit nothing? We hit Stone Cold nothing. Well, here's my 5/8 for 4 mana. I guess the rate on a 5/8 for 4 mana is not terrible. The old Wasteland Path to Exile deck. A true classic. We're probably not getting Wasteland at this turn, because I imagine they want to hit 1 more land and just cast Batterskull. Thanks for the extra land drop here. Worth noting, City of Traitors says you sacrifice it when you play another land. So land entering the battlefield via Path to Exile does not cause it to sacrifice. It did eventually get us a land. In a roundabout way, you've done what you were intended to do. Little card. Alright, so they have just Batterskull left in their hand here. Yeah, I imagine the purpose is to, like, ramp up into some of these things. So if I play this Ancient Tomb, I'm going to lose the City of Traitors, but I think I'm in for that at this point. I think it's just, like, do this, just, like, make max mana for this old Walking Ballista here. Tapping the Eye for mana doesn't do anything, because I need 2 more mana to make this bigger. So you are correct, I could tap Eye for mana, but it doesn't really accomplish anything in the current board state. What's going on, Red? Yeah, I want to get the Ballista down, because, like, having counters, like next turn I can even just, like, pay 4 and, like, shoot the Batterskull down. Stream Decker on mobile is broken. If you're on mobile, you gotta do this. Alright, cast your one spell that uses all your lands. Oh, I definitely could have done that. Yeah, I could have done black and saved 2. That's a good thing to point out. That is super true. Thank you for the relevant suggestion. Yeah, watching Magic Online is like pretty close to impossible if you're not super familiar with it. It's going to make an extended format. Well, they're going to make a new non-rotating format. So extended was a rotating format, so there'll be a new non-rotating format. All right, play this for 9. Worth noting here, we are only 1 more land off of activating Eye of Ugin, which then lets us cast Ulamog. So that being said, we're probably getting Wastelanded next turn, which changes things a little bit. Yeah, they said we'll have a new non-rotating format by next fall. Yeah, like I like to mention, folks that appreciate my content, I understand if you don't watch the Magic Online stuff. No, it's much harder to consume. There's a good portion of my viewer base that's only here for arena stuff. Wow, that was a good draw. I get the land, but I'm probably getting Wastelanded here. I have to take this hit from the Germ this turn. I guess I could throw Eldrazi Mimic under the bus. It's not doing anything particularly useful at the moment. I guess if they attack with the Batterskull, I like block with the Mimic and then double shoot the Germ. Gotta be on topic for the Rans. So Ballista gets to shoot this twice and take it off the table. And then, like, they don't have any cards in their hand. So, like, if I just pump this up here, I can attack it and kill both of these. If they draw a land, they get to redeploy the Batterskull, which could potentially be bad for me, but we'll see. Yeah, usually we get 600 or 700 still for Magic Online. Unless something changes drastically, I envision Magic Online always being a good segment of my stream, at least until we get the new non-rotating format. Once we can play 2 different constructed formats on Magic Arena, I'll probably pull back on Magic Online a touch more. But until then, I plan to do, 10 to 15 hours a week of Magic Online at the very least. What's my schedule now? 15? Yeah, 15 to 20 or so. The 2 parts arena, 1 part Moto that I have right now seems like a pretty good mix. Hey, Mashi Sauce, thank you very much for the tip there. I appreciate that. Oh, my Streamlabs is not open. I assume that's for a donation deck. Let me log in and confirm. Thank you for the support. Week 1 of just the new format from when it comes out? Yeah, probably. I'm sure there'll be a lot of hype surrounding it. Well, I probably won't do just the new format Gabriel paints, because when the new format releases, it'll be a new standard format as well. So it'll probably be just new standard and the new format when it comes out. We'll see. That's not till October, right? Like, that's still 9 months from now. They did not draw their 5th land, so that's good for me. The Espergorios sounds good. Alright, let's just keep hammering my health total here. When do we get access to the new cards? The new set releases on Magic Arena January 17th. So my schedule for this next week is Monday. I'm on the front page again, so Monday's gonna be my last day of the current standard format. And then Tuesday and Wednesday is gonna be all Modern and Legacy on Magic Online. And then Thursday, Friday, I'm gonna be doing extra long streams. It'll be all Arena with new standard. I mean, you can replace them with whatever you want, Rashad. I will just say that, like, playing Shocklands has a real cost in Grishelbrand because when you're playing Shocklands, like, your health total is a resource that you use to combo in that deck. Wow. Well, they didn't draw a lamb. They just keep drawing removal spells. Woof. Yeah, I think we need another live draw here. The Batter Skull is just going to erase us otherwise. No, my channel is all constructed all the time. I don't really enjoy limited. There's a lot of other great people that make a lot of great limited content. I am not one of them. Smasher. 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 Smusher, gonna smush, 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 smush. Nope. No, no it is not. Smusher gonna do nothing. When I should see a spicy birthing pod mom list. I have a donation submission for a... Good lord. Man, I felt like we were pretty close to being in this game, but the top of their deck has just been brutally good. Parafall, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for being player this month with that. There's really not a whole lot I can do here. I think I'm supposed to pump this Ballista again. No, probably not even, right? Because, like, it just being a 3/3 doesn't really do anything. I may need to draw, like, can I cast Ulamog if I draw it? No, I only have 9 mana. So I'm looking to draw something big enough that can block Batter Skull to, like, stall the board for a hot second. We are in the new house, Kent. What's going on, bud? Hope you're doing well. Look at that. That's such an excellent draw. It lets my opponent... Oh, lets my opponent draw cards. Colin Buzz, thank you very much for the biddies. I appreciate that. Welcome. This is kind of a good example of, like, one of the downsides to playing these decks. Like, these Chalice the Void decks tend to like be metagame style decks, and, like, this is the deck we're playing against is another metagame deck, and our stuff doesn't line up very well against what they're doing, and their stuff they've drawn this game just lines up well into what we have going on. Like, we had a lot of things not break our way this game, right? Like, in addition to them drawing well, we also, like, cast an Oblivion Sower that didn't hit any lands. Like, if we would have had slightly more lands, the Walking Ballista would have potentially taken the game over faster. Is WotC going back to 3-block sets? So, Wizard of the Coast has basically just done away with any formal structure. So they basically just, like, can do whatever they want. They gave themselves the flexibility to design their sets however they see fit. So this one is 3, but the next one might not be, for instance. Am I running Magic Arena on Docker? I'm not. So Magic Arena is a Unity application which runs very well via Wine. You just install Wine staging and it just works. The only reason Magic Online is set up via Docker image through Wine is because it's really complicated and annoying to make .NET applications run under Wine a lot of the time. Yay, a 2-1 for 2. All right, I'm just gonna move along. This is I don't know. We'll play through. We're obviously gonna play through the league, but I think, like, my feelings after. Why is there a draw card button if it doesn't work? Nobody knows. My feelings after playing the post deck last time is that my feelings about playing the post deck last time was that the post build of Eldrazi felt like it was a little bit better and more consistent. Like, what it was doing, like, you don't have to draw 2 1s for 1 on turn 6, basically. Like, your deck is full of bombs. Hey, DayMGG, thanks for the 3-month resub. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. You can find deck lists that are coming up later today in the deck queue on my website. They won't be on Stream Decker until we're actually playing them. So future upcoming deck lists will always be found on the deck queue. Docker is a piece of software that lets you sandbox configurations of applications. It's not a virtual environment, Ninja Turtle, from my understanding. It's basically a sandbox environment for keeping application settings consistent from system to system, and consistent and contained, basically. It's not technically a VM though. It's different than a virtual machine, because it's not running a full operating system. Like, the operating system binaries are there, but I'm pretty sure it works through some chroot type style stuff on Linux, at least. I wouldn't know how it would work on Windows, but like, you can run a Linux file system inside of a Linux file system without virtualization. Yeah, actually, I spent most of the afternoon just, like, working on standard deck ideas with new set cards. It was a lot of fun. Like, went through the full spoiler this afternoon and then, like, picked out some things that I wanted to get building. Layered environment is a better term than virtual. Layered makes sense. Evening, nerd girl. This seems like not great, but we're at 6 and we're on the play, so like it might not be too slow. Depends on what the opponent's doing. The opponent's mulligan to 5, so they're either unlucky or they're likely playing something that's unfair. Yeah, of course someone boosted red-white land destruction again. The deck's great. I keep that. Lets us curve Chalice into a 3-drop nicely. Opponent confirmed playing something unfair. Looks like red-black Reanimator. Are there any new cards I think will be worth testing in the land destruction deck? I don't think so. Oh, they just got nothing going on. Deal. So, I'm actually going to play this Walking Ballista for 0 here. And the reason why I'm doing this is I want to trigger the Chancellor of the Annex. So that way I can play Chalice of the Void for 1. Like, lock them out of a lot of their stuff. Thanks, Ellis. It's an interesting time for Magic for sure. As someone who's like been around Magic for a while and been like streaming for years now, like shoot, I think my stream's been partnered doing mostly Magic stuff for like almost 4 years now. And I've been playing Magic longer than that. Like, the Magic as an esports, but a joke for a long time. And it's just like, it's weird to say it in a non-facetious manner. Oh, they're playing, they're playing Manaless Dredge. Why did they mulligan? Why did they mulligan if they're playing Manaless Dredge? I'm so confused. I'm glad I have 4 Leylines in my sideboard, but I'm confused. Yeah, wow, definitely. I think we're actually dead here. Think we're actually dead here. That was a thud. They've got double bridge from below. They have Nether Shadow in the bin. Well, the thing with Manaless Dredge is like, if you mulligan, you literally don't get to do anything. So like, I'm gonna like look at a little bit. I'm pretty sure we're dead here. Shambling Shell usually indicates Manaless Dredge as opposed to LED Dredge, but I'd like to see a little bit more of their hand to confirm which Dredge iteration they're playing before I put them on the play for game 2. Couple of prized amalgams. So I know what MTG Arena's backend stack is. Yeah, it's a Unity application, which Unity apps run really well through Wine. If you install Wine staging, everything in Arena other than the auto updater just works. Can you give us a crash course in Manaless Dredge for new players? Yeah, it's this mostly unplayable Fringe Legacy archetype that people show up with anyways for some reason. It can't beat Rest in Peace, Leyline of the Void, Thalia, or a variety of other Magic the Gathering cards that people play. I think it's like theoretically good against Delver, because Delver doesn't play those cards. So it's like, I guess it like kind of falls into also a kind of weird metagamey deck. Yeah, people who play Manaless Dredge love Manaless Dredge. How much is Builder on for New Standard? 25, Admiral. I definitely would think Manaless Dredge qualifies as a meme. It's also a deck that I reject playing pretty consistently because, like, it's just not particularly good. It is also cheap monetarily to build, too. I don't think if it plays reserve list cards, none of them are expensive. I don't think it plays any, but if it does, they're definitely not expensive either. Alright. Is Ratchet Bomb actually good here? I feel like if they get tokens going, I'm probably dead. I guess that's not true. If I get Thorn of Amethyst going, this could potentially be useful. Walking Ballista and Endless One are actually great because they just like kill my opponent's stuff. I'm gonna trim a Wasteland here. Clicks a bit. It's really broken, but not consistent at being broken. Well, it's kind of consistent. It's just both. It's both slow and doesn't play through hate cards. So like it's just not very good. So it's both a slow deck and a deck that doesn't play through hate well. Finished Grishlebrand and Paper, played with it today, 2 days. Day 1, didn't lose a single game. Game 2, day 2 didn't win a single game. God bless. It does get to draw a lot of cards, which is a sweet thing. For a good time, I ordered some sound baffling panels for my new room, so we should be able to cut the small amount of reverb that we have in here soon. Is there a Legacy Dredge deck that doesn't lose to Rip? I mean, like, yeah, Dredge with lands in it gets to play, like, Nature's Flame to kill Rip, just like Modern Dredge does. I don't think... I listened back to some of my recordings from yesterday, and I don't think the acoustics are bad in here. They're just, like, not perfect. And I think, you know, $50 worth of baffling panels will make it up. I clicked the wrong button, chat. You're supposed to put them on the play. Instinct got the better of me. If you put them on the play, you get the play and the draw, basically. Yep, yeah, we moved yesterday morning and Thursday moving. The old muscle memory got the better of me. I'm not a big fan of green screens. I actually had a green screen that I could set up at my old place, but I'm just not a huge fan of them. Just keep mulliganing, just keep mulliganing. Where's my Leyline? Alright, I guess I keep Thorn of Amethyst. Got this fucking card. Sorry, pardon my language. And I concede when we miss our land drop here. Yeah, if you actually listen to what we were talking about, we literally just talked about that. Might be a quick Legacy League. What match is this? This is the head on into the third match here, and we are 0-2 after losing to Death in Texas and now Manaless Dredge. What are the perks? What are the perks to the new house? It's larger, it's newer, it's in a better school district. It has unfinished space here in the basement next to this bedroom that I'm currently in that I'm going to get to finish into a professional quality studio. Which will be nice. That's going to happen over the summer. Thought Legacy was slower than Modern. So, Legacy, I often describe Legacy when people ask me to talk about the games as like, Legacy is basically only full of games that are like one of the two extremes of Magic. It has like games that last 20 turns, and it has games that last 2 turns. There's really not a lot of middle ground. There aren't a lot of games of Magic in Legacy that last in like that 5 to 8 turn range. In your queue, what's the difference between Standard and New Standard? New Standard has cards from the new set in it, a Ninja Turtle Jr. So they can't be played until the 17th. Once the 17th hits, those 2 queues will New Standard will get renamed to Standard. That we finally found a deck with cantrips on it. May our Chalice of the Voids resolve. May our Chalice of the Voids resolve, please and thank you. What's going on, Celtic? Yeah, we're slowly getting unpacked. I think I just put this other Chalice on too. Just cover the bases. What age do American children start school? So Jake will start preschool in the fall and he'll be 5. Or sorry, kindergarten in the fall, he'll be 5. Alright, now I get to put this on Eldrazi and play a Smusher. Alright, let's see who wins the race, Reality Smasher or my Ancient Tombs. Monastery Mentor is kind of scary. So, my opponent hasn't countered me yet. I think I'm just going to jam this Walking Ballista and hope they haven't drawn a force. So I could take this Mentor off the table. Life spin spell here, Austin. I'm doing this full time now. Been doing this full time since the beginning of March. It's been kind of a wild ride. Always intended to try and stream full time at some point, but I was originally planning on waiting till like Declan started kindergarten. Because we weren't sure if we wanted to do the whole daycare thing, but the opportunity presented itself, so here I am. So I'm going to have to trade the Walking Ballista here, but I think it's pretty important that I take the Mentor fully off the table here. So that way it doesn't run away with the game by them just like playing spells into my Chalices and getting triggers. When we pick up the Tempo Storm Function, that started about a week ago exactly, actually. Last Saturday they announced. Is it worth attacking with this Reality Smasher and potentially taking hit from this Monk on the backswing? I don't think that it is. Hey, Admiral with the sub-gifties. Shooting the Monk in response to the fetch would make them not have a 1/1 here. There's no guarantee that they fetch, 4th Queen. If they're at all reasonable at Magic, but if I pass the turn, they just pass to themselves. They fetched because I started shooting. This is a good thing to talk about, because like someone else is asking too. So it's correct to trade my thing there. because my opponent, if they understand how Magic works well, they're going to just not fetch, and they're going to go to their turn when they get the full 4 mana to cast a bunch of spells and make a bunch of Monk tokens. Yeah, a lot of people forget that like Moto has actually improved. Like if you look back at like Moto V1, it's real. V2 and V1, V2 and V3, it's real bad compared to this. Like this is by no means great, but it's definitely like better than what we had once upon a time. Because it doesn't. Oh, in response to, did they mess up? Maybe they messed up and I didn't punish them. I don't remember the exact timing now. If my opponent was playing correctly, they should have fetched in response to me casting the thing. But yeah, there's probably a chance that they fetched at the wrong timing and then I used the wrong timing to punish them. That's why the constructive and specific is important. Like people talking about these things is like, well, you're actually not telling me specifically like what matters and why, which is why I'm confused. So it's on you. All right, we found a matchup where our Chalice of the Voids have a text box, and here we are. This is definitely a Sorcerous Spyglass matchup. We want this to be good against Jace the Mind Sculptor. Warping Wail counters, what's it called? Warping Wail counters their stupid Terminus, which is great. I was watching Twitch and at full screen. What do I cut here? Yeah, the correct timing from the opponent is to fetch while my Walking Ballista is on the stack. And then if they messed that up, I could have shot it again in response to the fetch line and then kept my Walking Ballista. So that's correct. So they made a mistake and I made a mistake back if they didn't fetch in response. I actually don't remember the timing at this point. I think I'm supposed to cut one of my threats, or maybe it's just like not Thorn of Amethyst. I have seven cuts I need to make here. Like what are the cuts? Like people telling me to bring in more cards. What am I supposed to cut and why? Sideboarding is a 1-to-1 process. I know I want Warping Wail and Sorcerous Spyglass. I'm not convinced I want these cards. I'm not convinced I want Eldrazi Mimic because it's not individually powerful. Yeah, ditching the Mimic seems fine. I'm gonna bring a Ratchet Bomb back in. Just bring in one. I don't think I want more over these other things. One thing that a lot of people don't get, they're like, why'd you time me out if I was right? It's like, you're not getting timed out on this channel for being right or wrong, because I don't expect people to always be right or always be wrong. People get timed out on this channel for not generating conversations and being specific, because that's what the rules entail. The rules don't say if you're right, you get a free pass. The rules say you need to be constructive and specific with the feedback you give on this channel. So when you're not constructive and specific, you get timed out. You could knowingly go into meta where you knew over 60% damage for UI control. What modern deck would you take? Amulet Titan. Definitely Amulet Titan. So I think I'm actually going to take this a little bit slow here. And just like curve Matter Reshaper into Thought-Knot Seer. Just make sure they can't counterspell me. Rather than get, like, my thing forced. They're, like, gonna back to basics me next turn, and I'm gonna concede and be sad, but I think waiting till next turn to play an uncounterable Thought-Knot Seer is correct most of the time. Yeah, that's exactly correct. As a former math professor, you don't get any credit if you don't show your work. I don't care if your answer is correct. Either put your work on the paper or I can't know that you did it yourself. I can't know how you got there. All right, this is the This is the part where we hope these 5 power can get through the game. And we're done. No, this is definitely not an Eldrazi deck. This is Miricles. No, this is Rug Delver. This is definitely Rug Delver. No Eldrazi here. Clearly a construct deck. These are not the squid bellies you are looking for. I don't think it does, Admiral. I'm pretty sure it just counts the total raw number. I think this is a keep, but I honestly don't know. Ratchet Bomb for the back to basics. The Ratchet Bomb's like okay against Mentor too, but I really just don't want to draw a ton of them. What do you get when you place a Chalice of the Void at the center of the Leyline of the Void? Modern. I have been spell pierced. How ready are you to be disappointed with new Kiki Pod after all of the hype? I'm not a typical Magic player. I always set my hype meters to realistic. I am an adult who has the weight of the real, who's had the weight of the real world beat that hope right out of me. I approach Magic the same way I approach everything else, with a solid dose of reality and tempered expectations. You know what? Maybe I'm supposed to Wasteland them here to play around Counterspell. That's probably what's supposed to happen. I probably should Wasteland them and change faces. I don't know, sometimes Mentor decks play Daze too, so like I get dazed that way. And like, I just drew a 6 mana card too, so like Wastelanding them aggressively like also isn't appealing and when I have the 6 mana card in my hand. Yeah, this build of Eldrazi's felt a lot worse than Eldrazi Post. The Eldrazi Post deck like hummed along pretty smoothly, and this one just like, it feels real middling. Like, being in the middle in Legacy doesn't feel like a great place to be. You ever been to Magical Christmas Land where all your hopes and dreams come true? I think I was lied to it as a child about a place like that. Weren't we all lied to as children? Definitely. It's like, can never beat this Monastery Mentor, right? Just like, not in a million years. Yeah, I'm pretty off this. Sorry, SCTR. I really wasn't a fan of what this deck had doing. It was like, okay last time we played it. We lost a couple of pseudo-close ones there. Just got brutalized by Manaless Dredge. Yeah, Ratchet Bomb kills the tokens one time. My opponent's deck had like has infinite cantrips in it. So, like, I'm going to have to kill the tokens once they make 2 or 3 of them, and then they just make more tokens afterwards, and I have no pressure. I think my wrap from that is that if we're going to be playing Eldrazi in this format, I'd rather just go bigger and play, like, the Eldrazi post deck that we played last time. This build, like, isn't doing anything super exciting. It just, like, doesn't go over the top like the other build did. Having to play, like, a 2-1 for 2 in your Legacy deck feels real mediocre.